Vanessa Trump was a total knockout who caught Don Jr.'s attention, and for a while their marriage seemed like a fairy tale. They even had 5 kids together. But not even that could keep their relationship from hitting the rocks, eventually ending in divorce. But Vanessa didn't just disappear after their split. Oh no, she made headlines at Donald Trump's 2025 inauguration, stealing the show with a jaw-dropping glow-up that had everyone talking. So, who exactly is Vanessa Trump, and what's her story before Don Jr.? Let's dive into her incredible journey. During her childhood, she was raised in the Upper East Side of Manhattan, where she experienced a combination of glitz and a more grounded atmosphere. Her mother, Bonnie Haydon, was a former model who had her own agency, and her stepfather, Charles Haydon, was a prominent celebrity lawyer. Her stepfather was also a celebrity lawyer. It was almost as if ambition was ingrained in her. Not only did she have Danish and Swedish ancestry, but she also had a grandpa named Kai Ewans, who was a well-known jazz musician from Denmark. Her cultural heritage was rather extensive. It's quite cool, isn't it? In addition to being a student at the elite Dwight School on the Upper West Side, Vanessa was also a very accomplished tennis player during her time there. It's true that she was capable of winning a match before she even walked down a single runway. Following her graduation from high school, she attended Marymount College in Manhattan to study psychology while simultaneously pursuing a career in modeling. By the time she was in her teens, she had already been signed with Wilhelmina Models, which is considered to be one of the most prestigious modeling agencies in the industry. Subsequently, she worked with Next Model Management while also attending college. The beauty that Vanessa had was timeless and all-American, making her an ideal candidate for the fashion industry. Together, the Haydon sisters were a powerful team, and they were frequently seen attending events and photo shoots. Her sister Veronica was also a model while they were together. But modeling was not the only talent that Vanessa possessed. She tried her hand at acting and even managed to land a minor part in the romantic comedy Something's Gotta Give, which was released in 2003. In this film, she appeared with fellow actors Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson. In the same year, Vanessa and Veronica decided to start their own business and opened a nightclub in Manhattan named Sessa. Vanessa gained a taste of the nightlife industry and added another layer to her already strong portfolio as a result of her time spent working at the club, which did not last very long. As for her romantic life, to put it simply, it is just as exciting as her professional life. She had a relationship with Valentine Rivera, a local street gangster, when she was a teenager. The story seems like it was taken straight from a movie. Later on, she was rumored to have been romantically involved with Leonardo DiCaprio when she was 20 years old. It was reported that the two were seen getting intimate at a premiere party. Of course, we must not overlook the fact that she was romantically involved with the Saudi Prince Khaled bin Bandar bin Sultan Al Saud. Following the attacks on September 11th, his family became embroiled in problems which resulted in the end of that romantic relationship. Since her marriage to Don Jr., Vanessa Trump has been on a journey that can only be described as transforming. Her narrative is anything from typical. Taking a more in-depth look at how she changed after she broke up with him is something we should do. In the entertainment industry, Vanessa had already established her own area of expertise through her modeling and acting careers before she began to focus on her family life. On the other hand, she did not stop there. In 2010, she launched her handbag collection called Late, which was a step up from her previous level of ambition. The company was able to successfully mix her sophisticated sense of style with her keen business skills. It is a monument to her determination and business spirit that Late is no longer active, despite the fact that she is no longer active. Now let's go back in time and talk about how Vanessa first met Don Jr. It was all because of his father, Donald Trump Sr., who was the one who arranged for them to meet for the first time in the year 2003. Vanessa, a lovely model with an effervescent personality, was brought to Senior's attention during a bustling fashion show in New York, and he made the decision that they needed to meet. "Hello, my name is Donald Trump, and I'd like to take this opportunity to bring you to meet my son, Donald Trump Jr.," he added. The gathering was quite uncomplicated, up to the point where Donald Sr. abruptly reintroduced them as if the initial introduction had never taken place. So awkward, isn't it? 6 weeks later, at a birthday celebration, they eventually met again, and this time sparks flew between them. As luck would have it, their second encounter took place. Vanessa, who is well known for her quick wit, teased Don Jr. with a humorous remark saying, "You're the one with the weird dad." Don Jr. accepted it in stride, and from that point on, their friendship flourished. The couple had become inseparable by the year 2004. In classic Trump tradition, Don Jr. proposed to his significant other in the month of November. The proposal took place at Bailey Banks and Biddle, a jewelry store located in New Jersey, and he presented her with a mesmerizing diamond ring that weighed 4 carats. What is the catch? All that was required was a publicity photo in exchange for the free ring. Even Donald Sr. expressed some anxiety and suggested that Don Jr. be more careful with such public arrangements. As was to be expected, the media did not miss the opportunity to make fun of him, referring to him as the cheapest gazillionaire. Nevertheless, Vanessa decided to accept his proposal in spite of the criticism. On November 12, 2005, the couple married at Mar-a-Lago, which is Donald Sr.'s extravagant estate located in Palm Beach, Florida. The ceremony took place after the previous year. The wedding was as spectacular as one could anticipate, and the ceremony was presided over by none other than Judge Marianne Trump Barry, who is the sister of Donald Sr. A gown designed by Reem Akra, which Vanessa had a hand in creating, was a sight to behold when she wore it. A total of approximately 370 individuals were placed on the guest list, which included notable individuals such as Joan Collins, Sophie Dahl, and Brittany Gasto. There was a large number of members of the Trump family present, including Ivana Trump, Don Jr.'s mother, who must have been beaming with pride. Because the wedding reception was such a magnificent event, it is reasonable to say that people talked about it for years after the event had taken place. Following the wedding, Vanessa and Don Jr. embarked on a honeymoon trip that would take them to 2 different countries, Fiji and Mexico, both throughout their honeymoon. It is possible to picture the newlyweds relaxing in the sun and taking in the calm beauty of their honeymoon destinations, even though the specifics of their tropical retreat were kept a secret. In the year 2007, Vanessa and Don Jr. had additional information to give. During the month of November in 2006, they threw a tiny cocktail party at their condo on the Upper West Side, which had a view of the Hudson River. They made the announcement that they were expecting their first child while they were surrounded by their closest friends. The pair went from being newlyweds to parents with the revelation of their pregnancy, which marked the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. Despite the fact that their romance did not last forever, the early years during which they were together were full of love, excitement, and plenty of Trump family flair. These early moments in their lives together provided the groundwork for a family that, despite being filled with happiness and aspiration, would later be put to the test by problems that were both personal and public in nature. Furthermore, despite everything that was going on, Vanessa's resilience, creativity, and independence started to shine through in ways that would impact her future long after their marriage had expired. Moving forward in time to 2007, the couple's life appeared to be nothing short of a dream. Their first child, a daughter whom they called Kai Madison, was born to them in the month of May. Kai's arrival gave the impression that they were finally carrying out their ambition of having a large family, which was something that Vanessa had always hoped for. Vanessa radiated delight as she welcomed motherhood, and Don Jr. proudly displayed his expanding family to the world. The birth of their second child, a male given the name Donald John Trump III, Donnie, took place in February of 2009. The family's social media posts gave the impression that they were the ideal domestic dream team, with the siblings forming strong bonds with one another and performing exceptionally well. During the month of October 2011, the Trump family had their third child, Tristan Milos, and soon after, they were completely absorbed in the world of parenting. The fact that Vanessa was so hands-on and how much their children adored her was something that Don Jr. discussed frequently. An image of their family life that was filled with joy was formed by activities such as family vacations, picnics, holidays, and even hunting trips with Don Jr. As if having 3 children wasn't enough, in October of 2012, they became parents to their 4th child, a son named Spencer Frederick. By this point, their family appeared to be something that had been taken straight from a Christmas card. Vanessa, who was handling 4 young children, looked effortlessly stylish. and Don Jr., who was proudly showing off his children, was particularly striking. The surprises, however, continued to come. In January of 2014, the couple made the exciting announcement that they were expecting their fifth child. Vanessa referred to it as yet another blessing for their expanding family, while Don Jr. imparted the news with his typical sense of humor, making a joke about the restless nights that were to come from the future. Chloe Sophia, their youngest daughter, was greeted into the world in June of that year. By the time they had 5 children living under the same roof, it was abundantly evident that Vanessa and Don Jr. were fully committed to the task of constructing their large and active family. The events that they shared on Instagram, such as their excursions to Disney on Ice and their holiday images taken at Rockefeller Center, demonstrated how much they cherished their children and, it seemed, each other. For many years, they appeared to be the most powerful couple in the world. Together, they showed their support for Donald Trump's presidential campaign in 2015. Vanessa was by Don Jr.'s side, smiling and waving to the audience and showing her support for the campaign. During the time that he was out on the campaign trail for his father, she performed the part of a supportive spouse at the same time that Vanessa ran the household. Through the use of social media, Don Jr. shared heartfelt words for Vanessa's birthday and posted family photographs from beach vacations, which only served to further reinforce the notion that they were rock solid. It seemed as though everything was picture perfect. It seemed as though Vanessa had everything she could possibly want: 5 stunning children, a devoted husband, and a high-profile lifestyle that many people admired. On the other hand, as we are all aware, social media platforms frequently simply report the highlights. In the background, fissures were beginning to demonstrate themselves. Despite the fact that rumors concerning Vanessa and Don Jr.'s marriage had been circulating for years, many people were nonetheless taken aback when their divorce was finally made public in 2018. The news that Vanessa filed for an uncontested divorce in Manhattan, after more than 12 years of marriage and 5 children, came as a surprise to those who support Donald Trump. They issued a joint statement in which they simply stated, "We have decided to go our separate ways." Although the statement was succinct and straightforward, there was more going on beneath there. In the world of the Trump family, where drama is more often than not the main attraction, an uncontested divorce is an extremely uncommon occurrence. This fact makes the decision that Vanessa and Don Jr. made even more notable. According to Kenneth Burrows, a leading marital lawyer in New York, an uncontested divorce is the safer and healthier way to handle affairs. This is a notable difference from the high-conflict manner that is typically associated with the Trump family. Vanessa's choice to work with David Fison, a relatively unknown attorney, was a resounding endorsement. During the divorce proceedings of such a prominent family, David, who was based in Westchester County, did not appear to be the showy and media-hungry attorney that one might anticipate. This action gave the impression that Vanessa wanted to put some distance between herself and the turbulent public life of the Trump family, choosing instead to engage in a procedure that was more private and muted. According to those with knowledge of the situation, the cracks in their marriage had been obvious for a considerable amount of time, notwithstanding the seeming suddenness of the announcement of the divorce. Sources who want to remain anonymous presented a picture of a relationship that was fraught with stress and resentments that were not explicitly expressed. There were rumors going around that Don Jr. had kept Vanessa on a limited budget and had not provided much assistance with the couple's 5 young children. Although Vanessa's representative refuted these allegations, they brought to light a more profound disagreement between the two of them that has not been resolved. Allegations of adultery hung big over their marriage, in addition to the financial problems that they were experiencing. In 2011, it was reported that Don Jr. had been involved in a personal relationship with Aubrey O'Day, a singer who was also a contestant on the reality show Celebrity Apprentice. During the course of the affair, it is said that Don Jr. informed O'Day that his marriage to Vanessa had ended, which resulted in a romantic involvement between the two of them. In 2012, Vanessa made the discovery that she had been having an affair, which resulted in the abrupt termination of their relationship, leaving profound emotional scars. In spite of the fact that the couple made an effort to make amends, the trust that had been severely damaged would ultimately be difficult to re-establish. Not only were they going through these personal challenges, But there was also a widening gap between their priorities, which only served to exacerbate the tension that existed between them. With a strong commitment to being a hands-on mother, Vanessa was completely engrossed in the process of raising their 5 children. During this time, Don Jr. became more and more interested in politics, particularly during and after his father's bid for the presidency. This change in his concentration, in conjunction with his growing prominence in the political world, resulted in additional hardship during this time. There is little doubt that the friction in their relationship was exacerbated by the fact that his presence on social media became more controversial, making him an increasingly divided figure. It was difficult for someone like Vanessa, who favored a life that was less public and more private, to reconcile the fact that Don Jr.'s actions were public. The split was made worse by the disparity in their lifestyles, which included her unwavering commitment to her family and his developing aspirations in the political arena. Adding to the stress was the fact that Don Jr. was absent from home on a regular basis. In order to fulfill his professional responsibilities, political activities, and social obligations, he was frequently absent, which meant that Vanessa was responsible for managing the household and the children on her own. As a result, Vanessa was left feeling the burden of her responsibilities without the support that she really needed. Despite the fact that the official announcement of the divorce did not include a comprehensive list of the reasons for the breakup, the underlying factors were not difficult to identify. The breakdown of their marriage was caused by a number of factors, including personal troubles such as claims of infidelity and disagreements regarding finances, political differences, and the difficulties of parenting 5 young children with only a minimum amount of help. Over time, these problems became more severe, and eventually they reached a point where there was no turning back. It was clear that the fairy tale marriage that many people had admired from the outside was no longer able to be maintained by the time Vanessa took the decision to file for divorce. It was no longer sustainable. The years that led up to that time revealed that their marriage had been gradually failing, despite the fact that their joint announcement about going their separate ways appeared to be amicable when it was made. The flaws had been present for a considerable amount of time prior to the announcement, and although the breakup may have appeared to be unexpected, those who were closest to them were aware of the signs all along. They ultimately came to the conclusion that it was best for them to split ways because the reality of their relationship, which was marked by personal betrayals, divergent priorities, and a rising sense of isolation, ultimately led them to it. A pivotal moment in Vanessa's life was the ending of her marriage. Since she left Don Jr., she has undergone a change that has generated quite a sensation, and it reached its pinnacle with the inauguration of Donald Trump for his second term in 2025. Vanessa, who was standing proudly beside her 5 children, enthralled everyone with her beautiful glow, giving the impression that she had just stepped off a runway. Vanessa, who had been reticent and frequently overshadowed in the past, was no longer present. In her place stood a woman who exudes self-assurance and vitality, and who appeared to have rediscovered who she was. The alteration in her appearance was one of the most noticeable in the process. For the first time in years, Vanessa appeared to be younger, healthier, and more energized than she had been. The golden blonde hair she wore now had a modern sun-kissed touch, which wonderfully framed her face, and her toned and graceful form brought back memories of her days as a model. However, Vanessa's entire perspective on life appeared to change, and it wasn't just about her cosmetic appearance. Having released herself from the high-pressure environment of her ex-husband's public and political life, she began to concentrate on her own pleasure, placing an emphasis on wellness and maintaining a healthy balance. It had been years since she had had the opportunity to prioritize herself, but she jumped at the prospect. The transformation that Vanessa underwent was not limited to a physical transformation. She also rekindled her creative passions by rekindling her love for fashion, experimenting with design, and revitalizing her one-of-a-kind sense of style. The members of her social circle observed the manner in which she held herself with a newly discovered sense of autonomy, exuding an intensity that made it abundantly evident that she was in command of her life. Vanessa remained close to the Trump family despite the fact that she and her husband had divorced. She continued to put her attention on her children and made efforts to ensure that they maintained a strong connection with their father's side of the family. Vanessa demonstrated her commitment to the cause by attending the inauguration in 2025 alongside her children in order to attend the celebration of their grandfather's return to power. Although her marriage to Don Jr. had ended, she had not severed her links with the Trump family, as seen by the family moment that she had with them. One thing was very evident to everyone. Vanessa was doing very well. Her transformation was not merely superficial. Rather, it was the product of a woman embracing her independence and living her life according to her own terms. And to tell you the truth, she is better off as a result of this. What do you think are some of the most significant things that contribute to a person's sense of well-being after going through a divorce?